The host nation Sri Lanka hopes for glory, but in their way stand the flamboyant West Indies. We are all set for the final of the ICC World T20 2012. Hello and welcome to It's in the Cards. Shruti Chopra, the tarot card reader, joins me in the studio. Hello Shruti, welcome.
Hi Nishad.
She will look into her cards and tell us what's in store for the big clash. She has been covering the World T20 with CricketCountry and has predicted 70% of the match results right. In the previous episode, she had said that the West Indies would go through to the final with Chris Gayle firing. Now let me ask Shruti, how will Sri Lanka fare in the final?
Yes, of course, Nishad, we'll have a look. It's quite interesting because the Chariot always explains someone who, or a team at least, who's balanced and in sync with what is required in the match. But then there are always these kinks in the armor, and that's something with Sri Lanka as well. They'll be aggressive, they'll want victory, and they're really desiring this. But they're unrealistic at times, and I think that's where it's going to go wrong for them. They will require better balance, they will need to implement their plans stronger than what they have been, and that's the only way for them to get out of this situation, but definitely a tough fight. You're going to enjoy this game.
And why do you think that will happen?
Simply because the Page of Cups, which is one of their key cards, it represents a lot of unrealistic approach. I think that's where they're going to go wrong, despite the fact that they have very strong ideas with the Queen of Swords. I mean, with all of these great supports around, they can still make a mistake because of the Page of Cups.
Coming to the captain, Mahela Jayawardene, how would his captaincy do on the day?
His captaincy, I think he'll be a little disappointed, a little nervous, yet at the same time he wants it all. So he is going to struggle a little bit with his captaincy. I think you will find him a little anxious, and he's trying too hard to be a good captain, to get things right. That's going to be a sticking point with him.
And what do the cards exactly say about it?
Especially with like the Nine of Wands. What that does is it shows anxiousness, it shows disappointment, and he's carrying a lot of baggage from the past. So what that does is he will, bring it forward into this game, carry everything around him, all the burdens of all the players will also be with him. So I think you will find that being shown in his captaincy.
When you say baggage, do you think it is the record of them losing finals in the recent past, big finals that too?
It's very possible because I think, as you can see, Mahela is a passionate player. And that's something that's going to continue. He's going to try too desperately hard to try and win this game. So I think it can be the past haunting him.
Well, it does make sense. As you all remember, Mahela Jayawardene had scored the 100 at Mumbai in the final, and Sri Lanka had lost that game to India. Now coming to Mahela Jayawardene, the batsman. We spoke about his captaincy, but how would he do with the bat?
It's interesting because he'll have a good start with the bat, especially with the Three of Pentacles, the Lovers. They all display a very good batting partnership, and I think you'll see that with him today as well. But he may find himself a little alone at times, and again, wanting to try too hard, and it's going to show up in his batting. I don't think it'll last as long as it should.
We spoke about Mahela Jayawardene, the captain of the Sri Lankan team, but who would be the key players for them in the final?
Yes. Who do you want to start with?
Obviously, we should start with Kumar Sangakkara.
Now this is interesting because Sangakkara starts off with the Three of Swords, so it's definitely a very piercing, painful card. And what it basically represents is he'll have a tough start, and it will be very difficult for him to get out of the situation. I think if he has someone supporting him on the other end, there's no doubt why he cannot make it into a good innings, especially with the Ten of Pentacles coming up. But he definitely requires a lot of support.
Well, if he does require support, then there's obviously Tilakaratne Dilshan. What do the cards say about him?
Well, Dilshan's going to have a balanced innings. I think he'll just appear a little too calm and a little too balanced. I think you want him to be a little aggressive. That's a part of his nature. And I think that's where he'll be a little subdued. We'd want him to push a little further, which I don't think he'll be able to manage to the level expected of him. But a good day all round for him, a good balanced day.
Coming to Sri Lanka's unorthodox bowling department, first up, the deceptive Ajantha Mendis.
Well, Ajantha Mendis will continue to remain deceptive. So there's nothing to say that he's not going to work hard. He's not going to make the opposition work hard to score off him. So I think, again, a good deceptive day for him. He will have to work hard, and he will be economical but effective. I think that's the key. You have to take wickets.
And the slinger, Lasith Malinga.
Well, I think Malinga is definitely going to be balanced. One of the main reasons is that of the Temperance card. It shows a sensible approach. It shows a very balanced approach, and that's what Malinga will be all about. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign for Sri Lanka.
It definitely is. If he can fire in those Yorkers, no batsman can escape that, can he? And what about the left-arm spinner, Rangana Herath? How would he do?
Well, Rangana Herath is very similar as Ajanta Mendis, deceptive, smart, but he's not going to be as comfortable as Mendis, for sure. He's going to have a tougher day, but he has the ability to adapt himself very well. So I think there's going to be quite a competition, I think, between Mendis and Herath.
Well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? A left-arm spinner competing against a deceptive off-spinner. If there's any team that's enjoying its cricket, it's the West Indies. Shruti, tell me, would they continue to enjoy themselves on the field?
Absolutely. Let's have a look. I'm interested to know this one as well. What's great is that they've drawn the devil card.
Okay, that doesn't sound very good, but please go on.
It just clearly represents a lot of self-belief, a lot of confidence, and a really strong hunger, desire to win. And I mean, they're going out and enjoying themselves, and the devil is all about temptations. So they're going to grab onto this temptation and just make a very good go of this.
So you're saying that temptation can be good at times?
Absolutely. Why not? You should have the desire and the will, and that's what the devil's all about.
If the West Indies are enjoying themselves, then it is because of their captain, Darren Sammy. How would he lead his troops?
Now this is interesting because Darren Sammy is definitely going to be an aggressive captain and show his desire to fight back. That's really what the Moon card is all about. It means that you need to get on top of the opposition and play to their weaknesses. I think he'll definitely want to do that, and that's something that you can see him being a little successful with. He may not be entirely happy with his captaincy, but I think overall a good day.
Well, that covers his leadership, but what about him as a player, the all-rounder in the side?
As a batsman, I think he'll do really well, especially having drawn the Empress. It means someone who's, very comfortable where they are and is playing with a lot of ease. That you'll see in his batting a lot. But when it comes to his bowling, I don't think he'll be as economical as he would prefer to be.
Well, he usually is very accurate, and he wouldn't be happy if he concedes a lot of runs on the day. Talking about the power-packed unit that the West Indies have, let's start with Chris Gayle, who's just enjoying himself on and off the field. So how's the power hitter going to fare on the day?
It's quite a little bit of a difference from how we saw him play. He'll definitely do well. He'll be balanced. He'll play a good, strong innings. So all of that is there, except this time the change is that he'll be really targeted by the opposition. I think he'll be hounded, and he'll go through that stress and strain, but he has a beautiful ability to come out of it, especially with the Queen of Swords coming up. A very righteous, correct way of playing, which is unlike Gayle, but I think that's what's going to get him on top.
So that pressure that Sri Lanka are going to put on him, would it be verbal or would it be on the field of play?
I think it'll be both. I don't think they're going to miss out any opportunity to just get on top of Gayle, but he has the ability to come out of it. So I don't see any reason why it should trouble him for too long.
Yes, he's chilled out, as they say. Now we come to Marlon Samuels, who batted at number 3 in the semi-final against Australia.
Marlon Samuels' overall all-round really, really good performance. He has the Magician card coming up for him, and we've seen the Magician card earlier as well, but this time it just means a very smart, confident game plan. That's what Marlon Samuels is all about.
Well, if he's batting at that crucial number, it would certainly help. Now we come to the birthday boy, Dwayne Bravo. What about him? Is his birthday the lucky day for him?
He has to balance up a lot of things. I think he's just overly anxious. I don't know if it's birthday or anything else, but there is a certain amount of anxiousness in him. But again, he also knows how to pick up momentum and enjoy the atmosphere. That's exactly what he will do. He will have a good day all round, but you will see that anxiousness in him for sure.
Coming to the deceptive spinner on the West Indian side, Sunil Narine.
Sunil Narine, again, a very good all-round performance. He's going to contribute very well. I'm not talking about his fielding. I'm just talking about his bowling. His bowling will be very good. He will contribute very effectively and play a very good hand for the team.
And the fast bowler in the team, Ravi Rampal.
Oh gosh, Ravi Rampal is going to be expensive. He's going to be troubled. He just shouldn't experiment unnecessarily. I think he'll have a habit of doing that. He should stick to what he knows best. Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble.
And why is that?
The Nine of Swords, it's a painful card. It's a very disturbed card, and I think he's not going to be very happy about how he's performing. He'll really have to pick up his plans and work on them. I mean, in order to take those wickets. I think he's just being a little weak-minded.
Well, the West Indies would certainly want him to fire first up. We've had a look at the fortunes of both teams. Now tell me, Shruti, who's tipped to win the World Cup?
Well, I would go with the West Indies.
Wow, really?
Yes.
In Sri Lanka's backyard?
Absolutely in Sri Lanka's backyard. I think that's where they're going to do it.
And why is that exactly?
One of the main reasons is like we spoke about earlier, Sri Lanka is going to be aggressive, but they're not going to be able to keep that going. Unrealistic approach and all of those things coming in. Whereas the West Indians are really chilled out. They want to do this and they're really relaxed about it. But they're confidently relaxed. Remember the devil, the strong desire, that's going to all come up. And you're going to see the West Indians win.
Well, if that happens, then there's going to be an army of people in Sri Lanka who'll be unhappy, but there'll be West Indians who'll be celebrating all over Colombo.